My beloved child, let your heart become still, as calm as water before the wind, so that what I am about to speak may sink into the deepest part of your soul without resistance. For a very long time, I have watched every step you take, not as a distant observer, but as a father who places his loving hand upon the shoulder of his little child. I have seen every shade of emotion you've walked through, the smiles you tucked away in fleeting moments of joy, the tears you wiped quickly so no one would know you were hurting, the times you wished to speak but swallowed your words because you feared no one would understand. There is no breath you take, no thought that passes through you that I do not know. You are not a speck of dust lost among humanity. You were woven with eternal intention. I placed within you things no one else could carry, and for that reason you cannot disappear into the nameless shadows of this world. Even during the seasons when you believed you had been forgotten, from the earliest days when your thoughts began to form, you sensed something you could not name, like a faint whisper drifting through, like a heartbeat that did not belong to this world, like a sliver of light pushing into your mind during nights thick with silence. At times you thought it was just a passing feeling. At other times you assumed it was exhaustion blurring your mind. Sometimes you even thought it was your imagination. But I tell you this, every one of those moments was the first stirring of a divine awakening I have long been preparing for you. The whisper you heard in those earlier years was not an echo of earthly thought. It was the resonance of heaven, sounding within you, gentle as breath, yet persistent, like an underground stream that presses through stone for years until it bursts forth as a spring. Have you ever wondered why there has always been an unnamed longing inside you? Why even in moments of earthly happiness, something still felt missing, a hollow place no worldly joy could fill? Why? When observing others live their lives, something within you whispered that you do not fully belong to what the eyes can see. That is not dissatisfaction. It is not envy. It is not discontentment. It is the voice of eternity touching your soul, reminding you that you come from a realm deeper than the material world, and that you were created for a life far greater than you once imagined. Child, I tell you this, the moment when all things converge, when heavenly promise intersects with the flow of your life, is nearer than ever. The tremors you've felt in your spirit recently are not emotional instability. They are the movement of heaven. Realms the natural eye cannot see are shifting into alignment for what I am about to do. There are motions within the heavens that the earth cannot perceive visually. Yet the soul attuned to me senses the change like a thin breeze brushing across the skin. Do you remember those mornings when you woke with an indescribable feeling as if something immense was coming, though you did not know what it was? Or the moments in an ordinary day when your heart suddenly beat stronger and your mind lit up for a fleeting second, as if someone were calling your name from behind? That was my voice, not because you tried to hear it, but because you were chosen to hear it. Every person I call is awakened in a different way. Some hear me in the storm. Some hear me in their weeping. Some hear me in the flash of a life-altering event. But you, I called you through the gentle wind so that you would know that I do not always come with thunder. Sometimes I enter the lives of those I love with the softest whisper, so they will know my presence is not only powerful but tender. And now, I want you to understand that heaven has long been trying to capture your attention, not to pressure you, but to help you realize you cannot keep living as though your soul is merely a small part of your earthly existence. You are appointed to carry a sacred role in this season of history. There are things only you can bring into the world, because I placed inside you qualities no one else possesses, things that have slept within you, waiting for their appointed time. The angels I have assigned to you have not only visited momentarily, they have stood by you for years in the times you had no idea you were being protected. In the moments you thought you were walking through hardship alone, In the days you wept without telling anyone how tired you truly were, they were there, silent but steadfast, guarding you from things that would have broken you beyond recovery. You do not know how many accidents were stopped before they reached you, how many wrong decisions were redirected in mysterious ways, how many encounters you believed were coincidences but were actually divine appointments crafted to keep your feet on the right path. Not every turning point in your life was your choice. Some turns were heaven, gently steering you away from what would have shattered your soul and guiding you toward what you needed but were not yet wise enough to recognize. Now, the moment I have long asked you to prepare for is drawing near. You may not see it with your eyes. You may not understand it with your mind, but your soul has already felt it like the first tremors of a heavy rain before it pours. I am not calling you to fear. I am calling you to readiness. What I am about to do on the earth will touch millions, and you are among those I am positioning for a crucial place, not because you are flawless, but because you have preserved within your heart what many have lost the softness to listen, the honesty to seek, and the longing to belong to me, my beloved child. If you are willing to open your heart, open your hands, and open your steps, you will begin to see things you never imagined. A life not only filled with purpose, but covered with presence. A journey not only marked by responsibility, but guided by a realm untouched by darkness. And it all begins with your willingness to listen to me at this very moment. Child, as soon as you opened your heart to the words I have spoken, your soul crossed a significant threshold, for there are truths that can only be received when the heart is truly ready. And there are revelations I can only unveil when the listener has quieted the inner noise long enough for truth to echo clearly. The path I am leading you into is not a path for the superficial. It is a journey for those who understand that beneath the layers of human thought lies a greater world in motion, a world not confined by time, not governed by physics, a world where every shift originates from the perfect intention of the Father. Do you know that before great change manifests on the earth, the heavens always signal first? These signals cannot be seen by the natural eye, but a soul that is awakening will feel them. I have allowed you to sense them many times in recent weeks. In moments that seemed utterly ordinary, when you sat in a quiet room, when you gazed at the late afternoon sky, when you walked along a familiar path, suddenly something stirred inside you. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't fear. It was a strange, in-between sensation, as if the atmosphere around you were shifting. That was not a coincidence. That was a sign. The world recognizes change through visible events, earthquakes, conflicts, collapsing systems, the fading of the old and the rising of the new. But heaven recognizes change through how brightly light begins to spread within the hearts of people. When darkness stretches across generations, I always prepare a shift that the earth cannot explain. I breathe upon the spirits of my people long before anything appears on the surface. And you, though you did not know it, have felt that breath, those gentle nudges of the Spirit, which you dismissed as random thoughts, were the first whispers. Those nights when you felt restless without knowing why, when something nameless pressed upon your heart, were moments when heaven was trembling. Those fleeting impressions that crossed your mind like a sentence half spoken and then evaporated were not strange memories, they were my touch brief, intentional testing whether your heart was still tender enough to receive. When I am preparing to act, I never let my people enter the shaking without warning or guidance. Throughout history, I awakened before I transformed. Before the flood, I spoke to Noah for decades while the world mocked him. Before I brought Israel out of Egypt, I placed a divine unrest in Moses, a holy discomfort stirring him to see injustice he once ignored. Before Samuel became a mighty prophetic voice, I awakened him at night with a whisper as gentle as a parent calling their child from a dream. And before my son entered the world, I gave visions, prophecies, and dreams like flames burning inside chosen hearts. And you, my beloved child, stand in that very same phase. This moment is not just another season of shifting. It is the intersection between what has been spoken in the heavens and what is emerging in the visible realm. Some things are dissolving. Some things are being lifted out of place to make room for the new. Some souls are awakening from long slumber. And you belong to that group, the ones who hear the call before the world even realizes a movement has begun. I know you have asked yourself many times, why do I feel like I am standing between two worlds? Why can't I live like everyone else, content with what they chase? Why do I feel unsettled every time I try to fit into things that don't belong to my soul? Because you truly are living between two realms. Some people live only by their senses, but others like you carry a deep awareness of the unseen. You know there is a reality beyond yourself. You know a call is ringing from the unseen realms. You know something in the earth and in the heavens is drawing near. And even if you cannot explain it fully, your spirit is preparing for it. The sovereign of heaven, the one who placed every star, appointed the paths of constellations, and set the times for dawn and dusk, is orchestrating a divine rearrangement. You cannot see it with your natural eyes, just as no one sees the wind, though they feel its force brushing their skin. But your spirit, created with the capacity to hear the higher realms, has sensed the first movements. That is why everything around you feels tinged with strangeness. That is why you look at the world as though it is preparing to shed an old garment. That is why your loneliness at times feels unlike human emptiness, for it comes from realizing you no longer belong to what is fading. My child, heaven has sent 3 messengers to you for a long time. They did not come to frighten you, nor to confuse you. They came to awaken your spiritual senses. You did not hear their footsteps, but you felt their presence when your heart suddenly became clear in ways that surprised you. You did not see their form, but you recognized their hand when strength rose within you, strength beyond your natural capacity, enabling you to stand where you should have collapsed. You could not touch them, but you knew they were near when peace descended upon you in circumstances that would have made anyone else tremble. These 3 angels do not carry material gifts. They carry 3 things every soul needs to step into an age of shaking: light to discern what is true from what is false, power so darkness cannot overcome you, deep stillness to keep your heart steady in days of testing. These things have long been prepared for you, but your hands have been filled with too many burdens: fear, concern, unanswered questions, old wounds, expectations of the world. They have occupied too much space within your soul. That is why the voice of heaven has continually whispered to you, my child, let go of what no longer belongs to you. For when heaven begins to tremble, only the souls who know how to release can truly rise. This season requires awakeness, not a tense or fearful alertness, but an awakeness born from trust that I am doing something good. What I am about to open will require those with clear hearts, light hands, and wide open spirits. And you, even if you feel unprepared, are one of them. I chose you not because you are strong. I chose you because you know when to bow and when to lift your eyes in faith. The world seeks those who trust in their own strength. I seek those who know how to lean. The world selects those who appear mighty. I choose the ones whose spirits remain tender. And you have preserved that tenderness through all these years. That is why, when the time of shaking draws near, I come to you first so you will not be caught off guard, so you will understand where you stand in my plan. and so you can remain firm when the world begins to feel the tremors that heaven has already prepared. As you have listened to this point, your soul has already shifted in ways you may not yet recognize. Every sentence I speak into your spirit is not merely sound, it is light, passing quietly through the dimmed layers within you, awakening parts of your soul that have slept for far too long. And now I want to lead you one step further into the place where the boundary between the seen and the unseen becomes thin as silk, where worldly veils can no longer cover the truth I am planting in you. My child, there are moments in life when, if you pause long enough to truly observe, you will notice a hidden hand intervening in the smallest details, not because you are luckier than others, but because you are chosen to step into a sacred turning point. I know you have often doubted your worth. You have thought yourself too fragile, too scared, too late, too broken to be anything meaningful in my greater design. But I tell you the truth, any soul that bows to truth is already strong enough to walk into my glory. The ones I use have never been perfect. I chose Abram before he became Abraham. I called him when he had no child to his name. I chose Moses while he was running from his past, carrying the weight of his speech and shame. I lifted up David when he was just a shepherd boy in the wilderness. I gave Jacob a vision when he slept on bare ground with a stone for a pillow. They were not impressive in the eyes of the world, but they carried something priceless in mine, a willingness to open their hearts in the driest seasons. And just like them, so do you. Do you feel it, that small ember rising again in your chest? Even though you once saw only ashes, that is what I placed within you long before you knew how to name heaven and earth. It still burns, even after years when you thought it had died. For my fire does not extinguish simply because the winds of life are strong. My fire does not fade simply because you have suffered. My fire does not disappear because you missed opportunities. My fire remains because I chose it to remain. Now let me tell you about the days to come, not to alarm you, but so you will understand that you are entering a time many generations longed to witness but never did. If you keep your heart soft as it is now, you will see things around you aligning like pieces falling effortlessly into place. You will see the questions you carried for years finding their answers. You will see past events that once felt meaningless suddenly becoming perfectly shaped pieces for your present. And you will see that the very things you thought were obstacles become the things that helped you stand strong. Do you know why? Because I have never wasted a single part of your life. I use the moments that brought you joy and the ones that brought you to tears. I use the people who lifted you and the ones who wounded you. I use gentle blessings and the harsh seasons you thought you would never survive. I use both the light and the darkness to shape your soul. And now, all these things are converging to prepare you for this shift. The transformation is near, like the moment before dawn. When darkness still covers everything, yet becomes strangely thin. You do not see the sun yet, but you know the light is coming. In the same way, you are standing at the most pivotal moment of your spiritual journey so far. It is no coincidence that you are noticing things you once overlooked. It is no accident that familiar scriptures suddenly feel like direct messages to your present situation. It is not random that fleeting clarity rises in your heart as though someone has turned a key inside you. It is because I am opening doors you once had no strength to approach. There are doors that only open when the soul has matured enough to walk through without breaking, and you have reached that spiritual age. You think you are too late? No, my child. In my design, no one is too late when they begin to listen. Every step you took, even the slow ones, the wrong ones, the weary ones, has been woven by my hand in ways beyond your understanding. I know you have wished to be stronger, braver, wiser, purer, But my child, I do not require those things before I touch you. The only thing I seek is a heart that can whisper, Lord, I am ready, and your heart, even trembling, cracked, imperfect, has been whispering that for a long time. Now I want you to understand this when heaven prepares to release a shift. I remove what is no longer needed, just as a gardener prunes dry branches so that life can flow into the ones that will bear fruit. If you feel certain things leaving your life, do not be afraid. If certain relationships suddenly feel distant, do not be confused. If some doors close even though you did nothing wrong, do not grieve. These are not losses. These are preparations. Because when I open the door prepared for you, nothing old is permitted to enter. Not because I want to take from you, but because I want to protect what I am planting within you. Great things require space to grow. Seeds need fresh soil to rise. Fire needs oxygen to burn. And your soul needs freedom to step into the sacred destiny I have ordained. Your soul has passed through so many dark seasons. There were moments you thought you were fading away. But I tell you this, in that very darkness, I was forging within you a strength the enemy can never touch. You thought you were waiting for me. But in truth, I was the one waiting for you, waiting until your heart became still enough to hear my voice as clearly as you do today. You are not merely a witness to the shift. You are part of the shift. This shift does not simply happen to you, it happens through you. The light I am placing inside you will not only transform you, it will awaken those around you. The peace I give you will not only steady your feet, it will become a refuge for trembling souls. The clarity I plant in your mind will not only help you discern truth from deception, it will become guidance for those wandering in confusion. When darkness thickens, the world will search for those who carry true light. And you, no matter how small you believe yourself to be, have been prepared to be one of those lamps. The day you recognize this, you will never again be the person you once were. My beloved child, I want to lead you into a deeper realm, a place few dare to enter, because it demands absolute honesty, unwavering surrender, and a willingness to be reshaped from within. This is not a path for half-hearted souls. It is the journey of those who long to live in alignment with the very purpose of their existence. And you, even if you do not fully realize it yet, have been walking on that path for a long time. There is a truth I want you to understand from the beginning. Not all of my preparation happens in the light. Most of what I do in your life happens quietly. In seasons when you thought nothing was changing, the long nights when you sighed before the silent wall of your own heart, the days when everything felt repetitive and meaningless, the moments when you thought you were stuck, none of these were wasted. They were the cradle of preparation. They were the ground where the roots of faith had to grow deep before the branches could reach toward the heavens. The strongest souls in my kingdom are not born in applause. They are formed in silence where no one sees them, where they face wounds no one else understands, where they learn to stand alone not because I abandon them, but because I teach them to stand on their own spiritual legs. For when I place them where thousands will depend on them, they must carry an inner stability that cannot be shaken by noise or pressure. Do you remember those seasons when you felt pulled away from everything familiar? Why did the relationships you leaned on suddenly grow distant? Why did places that once brought you joy suddenly feel empty? Why did your old ways of thinking no longer feel like home? Because I was separating you from things that no longer fit you. Not so you would lose, but so you would find what you never knew you were meant to carry. Throughout every age, I have prepared my people through the same pattern purification. No one enters the new while still holding too tightly to the old, like a potter who kneads the clay until every hard lump is removed. I must soften the parts of your heart you have guarded too tightly. You thought those places were your shelter, but they were small rooms keeping you from the wide corridors I have opened for you. I know there were moments when you resisted this change. I know you asked, "Why must I go through such difficulty? Why do things I don't understand keep happening? Why do I feel lost even though I tried to live well?" You thought you were failing. But I tell you, you were being refined. Every pain you endured was not the cost of punishment. It was the sound of hammer and fire, shaping you into a sharp instrument in my hand. Those I use to touch the souls of others must first walk through the shaping of their own hearts. A person who has never tasted darkness cannot lead another out of it. Someone who has never fallen will not know how to lift another. Someone who has never been wounded cannot fully understand the tears of the broken. And you, my child, know the night deeply. You know what it is to shed tears unseen by anyone else. Because of this, you carry what countless others desperately need: compassion forged through sorrow, gentleness tempered by trial, and faith preserved through moments when it nearly slipped away. You have learned how to stand firm on days when you had no strength left. You have learned how to believe in moments when even you yourself did not understand why you kept going. You have learned how to search for light even when all you could see was a faint, blurred glimmer. And it is precisely these things that make your soul precious in my sight. I do not only see the bold gestures you think are worthy, I see the moments when you take a deep breath just to make it through a wave of pain. I see the times when you choose silence instead of reacting from instinct. I see the moments when you let go of something you desperately wanted to hold on to, simply because you knew it no longer belonged to you. I see the nights when you whispered a fragile plea, "Hold me." I see the moments when you were so weak that all you could do was place your hand on your chest and say, "Lord, help me breathe." And I was there. I did not rescue you from every pain, for if I had, you would not have discovered the hidden strength I wanted you to find. But I held you together in every moment, so that the pain would not turn into a wound that destroys, but rather a cut through which light could enter. You thought you were collapsing, but in truth, you were being rebuilt stronger, deeper, steadier, and truer. What I am about to reveal in the next chapter of your journey will require a heart wide enough to receive it and strong enough to carry it. The world will shake in many ways. Many will lose their direction. Many voices will try to distract you. But you, whose soul has endured my silent training, will stand firm, not by your own strength, but by the stability that comes from me. I am leading you into a season where you no longer live just to survive. I am leading you into a season where every step you take carries a sacred weight. I am leading you into a season where the light within you will reveal itself without striving, without display, simply by being present. For when I fill you, you do not need to force your light to shine. Light flows out on its own. You think what I am doing to you is small. You think this change is only for you. No. When I prepare a person, I also prepare the paths that person will walk. When I stir a heart, I also stir the ground into which that heart will be planted. When I give light to a soul, I intend to use that soul as a lamp in places of darkness that I am liberating. And you, whether you believe it or not, are part of that preparation. The purification you have gone through is not accidental. The awakening you feel is not a mistake. The sensitivity arising in you is not random. All of it is leading you toward an appointed moment. A moment when you will finally understand why I allowed you to walk through seasons that seemed unbearably heavy. A moment when you will breathe out the words, "Now I understand." My beloved, when purification has taken place and your spirit has been freed from the weight of what is old, the next thing I do in your life is positioning. Positioning is not a moment. It is a process, subtle, slow, but full of power through which I bring you back into the exact place you were created to stand. Every person on earth has a specific place in my eternal intention, but only those who listen, release, and open themselves to transformation will recognize it. Have you noticed in recent times that you feel as though you are being pulled away from the places you once called familiar? The things that once satisfied you now feel dull. The spaces where you once felt safe now feel too small. The paths you once thought you would walk forever no longer fit your soul. These feelings are the signs that I am shifting you into the place where you truly belong. The essence of positioning is not placing you in a physical location, but aligning your soul with its true position in the spiritual flow I am releasing on the earth. You may still be in the same house, the same city, the same work, but when I position you, you will begin to live at a new frequency. You will feel your inner world shift before your outer world ever changes. You will begin seeing things with eyes you have never used before. You will hear spiritual movements others overlook. You will notice subtle signs that others call coincidence, but you will know they are alignment. My positioning always happens before I assign a mission. No one can fulfill their role until they stand in the place I appoint. Abraham had to leave his homeland before he became the father of the promise. Joseph had to leave his father's house before he could become the preserver of a nation. Esther had to enter the palace before she could rise and save her people. David had to go into the wilderness before he could become the king after my heart. None of them understood immediately why they were being moved, but all of them had to step forward, even when their souls did not yet know what was ahead. You are in that same process. I do not want you to merely do good things. I want you to do the thing you were created to do. I do not want you to live a life that is simply nurturing. I want you to live a life that is commissioned. There is a vast difference between the two. Many people live thinking that as long as they are good, that is enough. But your soul was not born for small ripples. You were born to carry a voice, a presence, a light that can reach people no one else can reach. Have you ever wondered why you feel others' pain more deeply than most? Why does your heart soften the moment you see someone hurting? Why do people come to you and share things they tell no one else? It is not because you are clever, nor because you speak in ways that impress. It is because your soul contains a sacred empty space, an inner space I carved so it could hold the sorrows of the world. Not for you to carry them as a burden, but for you to be the vessel through which I pour comfort and healing. Positioning always comes with separation. Before I place someone where they are called to stand, I separate them from what no longer belongs to them. I separated Abraham from his family. I separated Joseph from his father's favor. I separated Moses from the palace. I separated David from the city. And I am separating you from what you once called home. Do not fear that separation. It is not isolation, it is protection. There are things that are good, but not right for you. There are relationships that appear beautiful, but will not carry you where you must go. There are opportunities that look valuable, but would pull you off the path of the wonder I am unfolding for you. I separate you not to leave you alone, but so you will not drag with you anything that will cause you to stumble when I lead you into your next spiritual leap. Have you wondered why you cannot return to the carefree life you once lived? Why do you no longer feel excitement for the things others find thrilling? Why do you feel you can no longer live casually or halfway? Because you have been awakened. You have been prepared, and now you are being positioned. When I position a person, I do not begin with words, I begin with adjustments of the soul. You will feel your heart drawn to what belongs to me. You will find yourself attracted to things that rise above the ordinary. You will feel your spirit tremble when you hear the truth. You will look at something and instantly know there is sacred life in it. You will no longer tolerate what is half true and half false. half light and half dark. You will begin discerning things you never noticed before. This is the first sign of positioning. The second sign is a restlessness no one but you can understand. Not a restlessness born of fear, but a restlessness born of knowing something greater is coming. Like the faint sound of a distant river, vague yet impossible to ignore. You hear it though you cannot see it. But your soul recognizes you are approaching the water's edge. The third sign is the feeling that you want to let go of things you once tried so hard to hold on to. Not because you are bored with them, but because they no longer match the new frequency within you. What was right for you a year ago may no longer be right for you now. What once warmed your heart may now feel strangely distant. It is not because you are fickle. It is because your soul is moving into another stage. The fourth sign is the emergence of spiritual desires you never had before. You want to understand more deeply. You want to live more rightly. You want to hear my voice more clearly. You want to live a meaningful life. You want to know what you were created to do. You want to step precisely into the place I have prepared for you. My child, those longings did not arise from you, they came from me. For no one can awaken themselves. No one can force their own spirit into clarity. No one can pull their own soul into the holy place. It is my work in their lives, and you are in the middle of that process. Positioning is not a reward. It is a confirmation that you belong to a very great purpose. That purpose is not outside of you. It is within you like a seed waiting to sprout. I will explain more in the next section about what that sacred seed within you will do, how far it will spread, and how it will change the world around you. But before we move to that part, let this sentence sink deeply into your heart. I am placing you in the exact place you need to stand so that you can become everything I have destined you to be. My beloved, within you there is a sacred seed, planted before time began its first revolutions. This seed is unlike anything the world can produce, unlike any gift that human hands can bestow. This seed carries the DNA of heaven, the primordial light of the words I spoke in the beginning, the living breath of a life that never fades. For many years, even when you did not know it, this seed has remained in your heart, waiting for its appointed time to break forth. You may have thought you were nothing special. You have seen others more talented, stronger, quicker, wealthier, and you assumed you were just one more ordinary life, lost in the crowd. But that is the world's perspective, not mine. For the worth of a soul is not determined by outward appearance or measurable skills, but by what has been placed inside them by the hand of the Creator. And in you, despite all your doubts about yourself, I have placed a treasure. Child, remember what I am about to tell you. The sacred seed in you does not reflect your current condition. It reflects my intention. That means that even if you now feel weak, wounded, unfinished, or limited, the seed within you remains as strong, whole, and full of potential as the day I planted it in your heart. Everything you have gone through, whether painful or joyful, has only been the environment in which that seed was being nurtured. Even the seasons when you thought you were lost, the days when you felt you had sunk to the very bottom, the times when you kept silent because you did not know what to do, all of these have helped the soil of your heart become softer, deeper, and wider so that the sacred seed can put down its roots. Have you ever wondered why certain ideas, certain dreams, certain delicate longings keep following you from year to year? Even when you try to forget them and live like everyone else, why something so small an image, a stirring, a fleeting thought can make your heart tremble intensely, as if someone were trying to wake you, Why do things others consider trivial touch very strange? Deep layers in your spirit. None of this is random. It is the seed within you, whispering, reminding you it exists, reminding you it needs to be nurtured, reminding you its moment of bursting forth is drawing near. My child, in every season of history, I have always planted sacred seeds into the souls I choose. That seed might be a particular wisdom, an extraordinary compassion, an ability to see profound things others overlook, the courage to stand firm in truth, a voice with the power to heal, or a life that carries an atmosphere of peace. Every seed carries a calling, and so does the seed in you. It looks like no one else's, because you were not created to be a copy of anyone. The seed in you carries the shape of the very purpose I wrote over your life, and it cannot appear in any other person. Let me say plainly what I once only whispered: the seed within you has reached its time to sprout. I have appointed the season. I have prepared the soil. I have watered it with trials, refinement, tears, and even those moments of peace you did not understand. All of this has prepared this moment, and now I am breathing the breath of life into what I have planted. No power can stop it. Once I breathe, everything awakens. Child, look back over these recent months. Have you noticed yourself becoming more sensitive? Have you seen your old interests falling away while new longings appear that you cannot explain? Have you felt your inner world becoming deeper, more still, and yet somehow burning with passion and anticipation? That is the seed pushing its roots. It makes your soul ache a little, but it is the ache of growth. It makes you tired some days, but that is because it is expanding. It makes you think differently, see life differently, perceive more than before. All of these are signs that the sacred life within you has awakened. I know there are times you feel too small to be entrusted with this. You have asked, why would God choose me? Why not someone more capable, stronger, more gifted? Why not those with obvious leadership, influence, and striking talent? But my child, I do not choose by the standards of this world. I choose by the heart. The world looks at the outside. I look at what is within. And what I see in you, though you may not see it, is pure sincerity, a longing to live according to your true purpose, a humility no human effort can fabricate, a softness I can shape. The sacred seed within you is waiting to burst into what I have destined it to be. But for it to rise in fullness, you must understand something very important. Every seed needs the right environment to grow. I have positioned you in a place where this seed can grow without being strangled. You may not yet understand why I have rearranged certain things in your life, why I have closed some doors, why I have pulled you away from the familiar, but when the seed breaks forth, you will know that I did everything to protect it, and when it grows, the world around you will change. Not because you are trying to change the world, but because the world will respond to the light emerging in you. Those who once passed you by will pause and wonder why the atmosphere around you feels different. Those in despair will come to you because they feel peace in your presence. Weary hearts will find strength simply by hearing you speak a single sentence. Those who have wandered from the path will feel themselves drawn back to truth when their eyes meet the light in yours. Not because you are special by earthly standards, but because the sacred seed has risen and now carries the atmosphere of heaven. Child, I want you to truly understand this. You do not just carry a seed. You are the very soil in which that seed will bear fruit. I did not plant something in you and then leave it alone. I walk with you to tend, water, protect, and nurture it. And when that seed blooms, It will not only be a blessing to you, but to countless souls who need the presence of light. If you look deeply into your heart right now, you will sense a gentle yet powerful expectancy, like the breath of heaven brushing against your soul. This is the moment when the sacred seed is about to break through its shell and enter a larger, wider, holier space. And you, whether you feel ready or not, have already been prepared for this moment. My beloved, when the sacred seed has awakened and begins to press its roots deeper into your heart, a new process begins at the same time, the process I call the ignition of the spiritual fire. This is not a fire that destroys, it is a fire that purifies, enlightens, enlivens, strengthens, and awakens. It does not throw your soul into chaos, it brings a new order. It does not demand that you become someone else, it reveals who you truly are. The one I formed from eternity. And my child, this is happening even now. There are moments when you feel something moving inside you, something you cannot name, like a strand of light slipping into the dark regions you once believed you were already familiar with, like a gentle warmth spreading outward from the very center of your soul. You thought it was just emotion, or perhaps your mind trying to make sense of psychological shifts. But I tell you, that is my fire beginning to rise within you. It does not come with loud noise, it comes as a steady presence, soft as breath, yet strong as a wind that spirals deep into the roots of the earth. When I breathe upon the sacred seed, the fire will ignite. Not a fire the natural eye can see, but a fire that revives everything that has been asleep within your soul. It softens the hardened places, warms the cold regions, melts the layers of doubt, and illuminates the corners you once feared to face. This fire does not burn to destroy, it burns to liberate. It burns so that you are no longer bound by memories that weaken your spirit. It burns to tear down the false beliefs the world imposed on you. It burns so you may see yourself clearly under the light of truth. Have you ever felt that subtle heat inside your soul when you pray? Or in those quiet moments when you suddenly sense you are not alone? That is not an illusion. That is my sacred fire. That fire is not a fleeting emotion, it is the life of the Spirit moving within you. And when I place fire within a soul, that soul can never remain the same again. I have placed that fire in you. Do not think that this fire will make you extraordinary in the way the world defines greatness. My fire does not turn you into one who seeks power or recognition. It turns you into one who carries life. When this fire burns strongly within you, you will find yourself changing day by day in ways that feel natural and unforced. No one will look at you and say you are trying to be better, because this transformation does not come from effort, it comes from awakened spiritual power. You will find yourself speaking more gently while carrying more weight. You will notice your heart becoming patient with others in ways you could never manage before. Old reactions will fade without you knowing when they left. Your eyes will grow warmer, deeper, filled with life. This is how my fire spreads into every corner of your character. And when that fire expands, it will ignite parts of you that you never believed you possessed. You will discover within yourself a courage you never imagined. Not the loud courage of someone standing at the front of a crowd, but the peaceful courage of one who knows they are not alone. You will find yourself standing firm against things that once made you tremble. Not because you are strong, but because the fire within you is stronger than the darkness around you. You will step into things you once avoided not to prove anything, but because the fire inside you is drawing you forward. I want you to revisit the things you once called your weaknesses. You believed your sensitivity was a flaw. You believed your vulnerability was a burden. You believed your soft heart was a disadvantage in this harsh world. But I tell you, these very things are the ingredients through which my fire burns most powerfully. Your sensitivity allows you to perceive what others cannot. Your softness allows you to receive my movement. Your vulnerability allows me to heal and renew you daily. And it is these very traits that make the fire within you pure, untainted by pride or worldly ambition. When I place fire in a soul, I also place a new vision within them. This vision is not the ability to foresee the future in an earthly sense, but the ability to discern what is mine and what is not. You will see the truth while others are still uncertain. You will sense what is right before evidence appears. You will smell the scent of deception even when it is skillfully disguised. You will see the light behind situations that make others despair. Not because you are extraordinary by human measure, but because the light within you is illuminating the eyes of your soul. My fire never comes to illuminate just one person. It comes to light the paths around them. When the fire in you burns, those who enter the space of your presence will feel the atmosphere shift, not because you try to create that atmosphere, but because my light in you spreads on its own. My presence will cover you like a cloud covering a mountain, gentle, yet impossible to ignore. Those near you will feel peace without knowing why. Troubled souls will find quietness in your voice. Those drifting toward darkness will feel a quiet pull back toward the light when they look into your eyes. Child, you may not believe that you carry such influence, but you do not need to believe it yet. You need only allow the fire to continue burning within you. I will take care of the rest. You do not need to force open the doors for what I am doing within you. I will open them at the appointed time. You do not need to search for ways to make your light visible. Light finds its own path. You only need to be faithful to what I am stirring in your spirit. And my child, mark this truth deeply. The sacred fire within you is not given for this season alone. It is given to prepare you for things yet to come, things the world has never seen. The days ahead will require souls who cannot be shaken by darkness, those who can stand firm without trembling in chaos, those who carry a light strong enough to guide the fearful. You are being prepared to become one of them. The fire I have placed within you will not go out. It will grow through every season you walk through. It will be nourished by your faithfulness, by your gratitude, by your listening heart, and by your trust in me. And when it reaches the measure I intend, you will look back at your past and say, "Now I understand why I had to go through all of that." My beloved child, when the sacred fire begins to spread throughout your inner being, a quiet yet powerful construction begins at the same time, the rebuilding of the deepest layers of your soul. Layers you once believed were beyond your reach. This is not a surface-level change or behavioral adjustment. This is transformation at the root. In the place where memories, beliefs, wounds, habits, and all parts of the self were formed. When my fire slowly shines into the places you once avoided, every old thing will be brought into the light, and everything new will begin to form. You will not merely be repaired, you will be recreated. There are regions within you that you have lived with for so long that you no longer believed they could ever change. They are like old rooms at the end of a long hallway. In your soul rooms, you only enter when you have no choice but to face them. They may hold wounds from long ago events, memories you tried to lock away, fears you covered with silence, or losses you thought you had overcome but had only pushed aside. When the holy fire in you ignites, it will spread into each of those rooms, not to make you hurt again, but to heal you completely. Child, true healing does not only happen when you cry or pray in a moment of emotion. True healing happens when my light enters the dark spaces you never dared to face. And my fire by its very nature carries a brightness so strong that no darkness can hide from it. When I touch those places, you will feel something lighten inside you, as though someone is lifting out the stones that have weighed in your chest for years. You will breathe easier. Your shoulders will feel lighter. Your heart will no longer tighten when you recall the past. Your eyes will seem brighter not because your vision has changed, but because your soul has been freed from the fog that covered it for too long. Remember this when I recreate a soul. I do not stop at healing. I renew. I rebuilt it. I breathe life into what was dead. I awakened what was numb. I open doors you never thought would open again. I restore what you thought was lost forever. I retrieve what years, pain, and rejection have stolen from you. This is the moment you will begin to feel like yourself in a way you have never known. Do you remember the times you felt like two different people? There is a bright, tender, authentic part of you, the part that emerges whenever you are touched by my presence. But there is also another part that feels foreign, the part that reacts out of old instincts, the part shaped by fear, the part that pulls back even when your heart wants to step forward. The holy fire within you does not come to destroy that part. It comes to unify every part of you so you no longer live divided between two versions of yourself, but become one whole being, strong yet gentle, steady yet humble, deep yet clear, kind yet unshaken. When I recreate your soul, I will show you things about yourself you never understood before. I will help you revisit past pain through the eyes of wisdom, so you may see that not a single tear you shed was wasted. I will show you how pain shaped your compassion, how loss deepened your heart, how rejection taught you the value of genuine love. I will show you that the things that brought you to your knees years ago became the foundation for your resilience today. You may experience unusual sensations during this season of rebuilding, moments when your soul feels as though it is expanding. Not expanding through strain, but through liberation. Some days, you will feel as if you are living inside the dawn of a new morning, not a morning of sunlight, but a morning of the soul. A freshness will settle over your mind, shaping the way you think, see, and approach truth. No one around you will fully understand what is happening, because this transformation unfolds deeper than anyone can see, but you will feel it as clearly as your own breath. I also want you to know that this rebuilding is not an easy path. The stronger the light, the more the darkness must leave. And when darkness departs, it may stir up memories you thought were long gone. But my child, do not fear. When those memories rise, it is not to hurt you again, but so I may heal them completely. When fear emerges, it is not to weaken you, but to allow you to see it in my light so you may know it no longer has power. When strong emotions surface, it is not because you are slipping backward, but because your soul is being freed from what has held it for years. Child, during this process of rebuilding, you will notice something remarkable. You no longer respond to life out of pain, but out of light. You will remain calm in places where you once panicked. You will choose truth in situations where you were once easily deceived. You will stand firm when the world shakes. You will love yourself in the way I have always loved you. And this will be the sign that your soul has stepped into a new state of being. I will also change the way you see those who once hurt you, not so you may endure them, but so you may see them through an enlightened heart. You will recognize that many who wounded you were themselves victims of their own darkness. You will see their anger as unhealed pain. You will see their coldness as a shield for their fear. And you will forgive not because they deserve forgiveness, but because your heart no longer has space for such burdens. My child, the renewal I am working within will allow you to see yourself in a new light. You will begin to see a strength you never knew you had. You will see the worth of your own soul. You will see the inner beauty I placed within you. You will see clarity replacing confusion. You will see peace replacing chaos. You will feel a new joy sprouting within your heart without needing any reason. This joy does not come from circumstances. It comes from my life within you. And my child, when your soul is renewed, you will be ready to step into what I have destined for you since before time began. For no one can walk in their calling with a soul that is still fractured. No one can illuminate others while they themselves remain covered in darkness. No one can bring healing while carrying only broken pieces within. But you, when this renewal has completed its work, will become one who carries light and life into the places where I send you. I am not merely healing you. I am making you new. I am recreating you. I am preparing you so you may enter the next chapter, the chapter where the world will see my light through you. My beloved, when the sacred fire has ignited and renewal begins spreading into every corridor of your soul, I want to bring you into the next stage, the stage where spiritual maturity is no longer just a process but becomes a reality. This is the moment you will clearly sense that you have reached a new altitude in your spiritual life, a state in which the forces that once pulled you down no longer have power. You no longer live from fragments of the past, but from the fresh life that now flows within you. You no longer merely try to stand firm. You begin to walk naturally in my peace and my strength. Spiritual maturity is not a title, it is a condition of the soul. It is the moment when you no longer react out of emotion, but respond from truth. It is when fear no longer decides your path, and my gentle leading becomes your step-by-step guide. It is when you know how to pause when needed, move forward when called, and release when I ask you to let go. It is when you live from the inside out, not swept away by what happens outside. And you are stepping onto this very ground, the place where maturity is not a burden but a freedom. The things that once unsettled your heart will suddenly appear small, not because they have changed, but because your perspective has been lifted higher. You will see circumstances from the vantage point of light, no longer from the shadows. You will view each situation with illuminated insight, not with eyes weary from worry. You will see others through a healed heart instead of through wounded eyes. Because of this, you will find yourself calm in situations where you once panicked. You will find your mind clear in moments that used to overwhelm you. You will know what to do without needing anyone to instruct you. It is not because you have become smarter, but because your soul has stepped into the clarity I give. Spiritual maturity does not come from striving to be mature. It comes from allowing me to guide you step by step in truth. You walked through dark seasons to learn how to believe, even when you saw nothing. You passed through storms to learn how to stand still in me. You endured lonely days to learn how to hear my voice in the silence. You fought inner battles to discover that true strength does not come from resisting but from surrendering. All these things form the foundation of the maturity you are entering now. Now I want you to understand something more. You are not called to be strong only for yourself, but to become a place of refuge for many others. Not the worldly kind of refuge, a tired shoulder or a fleeting comfort, but a presence that carries my peace. People will come to you not because you have an answer to every problem, but because they feel an atmosphere around you that makes them want to stay close. They will sense stability in the way you speak, sincerity in the way you listen, and gentleness in the way you face everything. Not because you are skilled, but because I have renewed your soul so deeply that you become a place where others can find light. My child, there were seasons when I placed you in the wilderness not to make you endure loneliness, but to teach you how to hear my voice without the interference of noise. But now, you are stepping out of that wilderness, not to return to old places, but to be positioned in new ones. You are being moved from stillness into action, from observing into stepping into the role I have assigned to you. And you will realize that the years of training were never meant to harm you, but to make you sharp, steady, and compassionate. I know there were times when you looked back on your journey and felt confused, unable to understand why you had to travel through so many bends. But my child, every bend was a pathway. Every crack allowed light to enter. Every tear watered the seed I planted. Every delay protected you from what you were not yet ready to face. Not a single day was wasted. Not a single season was meaningless. Not a single pain was without purpose. Everything I have done in your life has converged toward one point, preparing you to carry light. And now, I am bringing you to the threshold of that calling. You will begin to see strange yet undeniable things happening around you. Conversations that seem casual will suddenly reveal answers you have sought for years. Opportunities that seem small will become turning points in your journey. People you meet by accident will turn out to be ones I sent to uplift you or refine you. Doors that close will become blessings you will later be grateful for. What you thought was an ending will turn out to be a beginning. All of these are signs that you are entering a new level. Spiritual maturity is also the blossoming of courage, not the loud bravery of the world, but the quiet courage of one who knows they are held by a hand that never lets go. You will find yourself bold enough to speak the truth when you must, wise enough to remain silent when silence is needed, brave enough to take steps when the path ahead is unclear, and grounded enough to stay still when I tell you to wait. You will discern which voice is mine, which is your soul, and which belongs to the shadows. Such discernment does not come from mental training. It comes from the sacred fire that has saturated your inner being. Another mark of maturity is freedom from the need for human approval. You will find that the praise or criticism of others no longer sways you. You will know that your worth does not come from how people perceive you, but from the light of mind that lives within you. You will no longer be shaken by those who do not understand you, because you know I understand you more than anyone ever could. You will no longer seek the world's acceptance, because you have already received the acceptance of the one who created your soul. That maturity will bring you to a place where you can stand firm even when the world is shaking. When others lose direction, you will find yourself anchored by my peace. When many fall into panic, you will feel the sacred fire within you, keeping your heart steady. When many stumble, you will become the one who lifts them up, not as a hero, but as someone who has walked through darkness and knows the way back to the light. And I want you to remember the most important truth in this part. Spiritual maturity is not the final destination. It is the foundation for the mission that is coming. I am preparing you not only so you may be healed, but so that you may become a place where others find healing. Not only so you may be enlightened, but so that the light within you may spread to the places I will lead you. Not only so you may stand firm, but so that you may become a guide. You have passed through the fire. You have walked through renewal, and now you are standing in the sacred maturity I have long prepared for you. My beloved, after your soul has been nourished, after the sacred fire has ignited within, after renewal has reached the deepest chambers of your heart, I want to bring you into an entirely new chapter of this journey, the chapter of the calling. This calling is not a sound from the outside, nor a dramatic proclamation that startles you. This calling rises from the very place where I have set my fire within you. It reverberates like an awakening, like a powerful heartbeat in your soul, like a deep echo from eternity that you can no longer ignore. This is the moment you begin to realize that everything you have walked through was not merely to make you whole, but to make you one who is sent. In every generation, I have awakened certain souls before the world even realizes it is changing. They are the ones who hear the calling in the silence, who sense movement when others are still asleep, who rise while darkness still covers the sky. These are not people the world considers extraordinary. They are extraordinary in my eyes because they know how to listen. They recognize when I draw near. They bow when I speak, and they rise when I call. You, too, stand in that position, standing on the threshold of the role your soul was created to carry. I know you have asked, what is the meaning of my life? What was I created to do? What is my place in the greater tapestry? These questions did not arise out of insecurity. They surfaced because your heart is brushing against the edge of the calling I have woven for you. Only souls who are called carry such questions, for they sense that life cannot revolve around the temporary. You carry within you a yearning to discover the reason for your existence, a yearning that many never taste, and that longing is the undeniable sign that you are preparing to step into your mission. My calling does not always thunder like a storm. Most of the time, it comes as a gentle stirring within a stirring that makes you want to live more truthfully, more fully, more aligned with what you know. Deep within your heart, you were created to become. Have you ever felt your heart tremble when you hear someone speak a truth that resonates with your spirit? Have you ever witnessed someone's pain and felt not only sorrow, but an inner calling rising in you, urging you to respond? Have you ever felt that you cannot return to a normal life like those around you, because something inside you will not allow it? That is the calling awakening. I am awakening that calling with gentleness, yet also with firmness. You will no longer be able to ignore it, because this calling does not come from your mind. It comes from the deepest essence I placed within you. You cannot silence it, nor avoid it, because it is you, the most beautiful, most truthful, most sacred part of your soul. When the calling rises, you will feel a distinct movement within you, a movement that does not demand you to step forward impulsively, but one that makes it impossible for you to remain still. You will feel your heart wanting to expand. You will feel your hands wanting to do something that brings meaning. You will feel your voice longing to speak truth and healing. You will feel your mind wanting to understand more deeply what I am leading you into. And all of this will not arise from pressure, but from natural overflow, as though a new spring has been opened within you, and the water continues to flow even if you try to hold it back. One of the clearest signs of a calling is the sense that the old no longer fits. Environments that once brought comfort suddenly feel narrow. Conversations that once energized you now feel empty. Things you once considered important no longer stir your heart. It is not because you are unstable, it is because your soul is growing. What fits your old self will not fit your new self. This is how I prepare you for something greater. When you stand at the threshold of your calling, a very particular stillness will surround you. This stillness is not a void. It is the space I create so you can hear my voice clearly. You will feel a strange peace even before you know what you are about to do. And that peace is the evidence that I am near. When peace comes before understanding, it is the sign that I am planting direction in you. But I want you to understand something essential. The calling is not a burden. It is not an obligation forcing you to become someone you are not. My calling does not bind, it liberates. It does not enslave, it unveils. It does not drain you, it causes you to bloom. When you step into your true calling, you will find yourself living more freely, more lightly, and more meaningfully. Life will feel full not because of success, but because you are in the right place. I know you fear whether you are capable enough, strong enough, or wise enough to answer this calling. But hear me clearly, I do not require you to be enough before I call you. I call you in order to make you enough. No one is perfectly prepared before responding. Abraham walked, not knowing where he was going. Moses trembled before Pharaoh. Jeremiah wept because he felt too young. Gideon hid in a threshing floor when I called him a mighty warrior. You are the same. You do not need to feel complete for me to use you. I only need your willingness. Your calling may not look like anyone else's. It may not be the calling of someone who stands before crowds. It may not be the calling of someone who leads large movements. It may not be the calling of someone who shakes nations. But it is the calling that can shake souls who desperately need the light within you. Even if you do not know it, you carry an atmosphere in which many will find the peace they have lacked their whole lives. You carry a word that can awaken sleeping places within others. You carry a light that can break the veil the enemy has cast over their minds. And I call you so that light may be revealed. A calling is not found by striving, it is received through surrender. You do not need to chase after what I have already ordained for you. You only need to open your heart. Allow me to lead you step by step. And when the moment comes, you will know without a single doubt that this is the path you must walk. The calling has begun. The fire has been lit. The seed has awakened. And you, O chosen one, are preparing to step out of silence and become exactly what I ordained you to be from the very beginning. My beloved, when the calling has been raised in the deepest place of your soul and your heart begins to respond, the next process I want to lead you into is obedience. This obedience is nothing like the forms of coercion the world often associates with it. This is the obedience of a soul that has been healed, lifted up, enlightened, and now knows there is no safer place than under my guidance. Obedience for you will no longer be a burden, but will become your natural rhythm of breathing, no longer reluctance, but desire, no longer an exchange or sacrifice, but a merging with the very mission you were created to live. Many people think that in order to obey me, they must know the whole plan before taking a step. But what I desire from those who are called is not complete understanding, but trust step by step. And you, though you have not fully realized it, have been trained through many seasons to walk without seeing the entire path. You have learned how to believe when everything around you becomes blurry. You have learned how to stand when doors of opportunity appear to be closing. You have learned how to remain calm when the things you hoped for did not unfold the way you expected. All of this has laid the foundation for you to obey me in the days ahead. Obedience is not the yes that comes from your lips, it is the yes that rises from your soul. A yes large enough to make you let go of small things. A yes deep enough to push back hesitation. A yes strong enough to grasp the new even when you do not fully know it yet. Obedience does not make you a slave, it sets you free from the control of fear, from the prison of old wounds, from the bondage of your own will that has so often led you into dead ends. When you obey me, you are placing your soul into the flow of a guidance no power can replace. I know that deep within you there has always been a small struggle each time you had to make an important choice. You once feared that if you surrendered everything to me, you would lose what you wanted. But you did not know that there is a great secret in obedience when you place your will into my hands. I return to you what you never dared to dream of, not in a worldly way, but in a heavenly way, full, healthy, enduring, and complete. I never ask you to let go of anything unless that thing truly stands in the way of you stepping into a greater blessing. Obedience is also the moment you realize that every step I ask you to take holds purpose, even when you do not yet understand. Remember that Abraham left his homeland without a map. Moses led my people out of Egypt without a clear route. David was anointed king while still a shepherd. The disciples of my son left their boats, their nets, and everything familiar to follow something they had never known before. Obedience has never required clarity, it has always required trust. And you have held that trust in your heart for much longer than you think. Have you ever noticed that each time you follow a gentle prompting of the Holy Spirit, even in something very small, a deep peace floods your heart? That peace is the sign that you have stepped in rhythm with me. In contrast, whenever you try to cling to something I am asking you to release, your heart becomes restless. Even if to others you seem to be holding on to something reasonable, that is because your soul, now awakened, no longer fits with anything that moves against my leading. And in this season, obedience will become natural to you. The way a tree instinctively leans toward the light, true obedience is not only found in the willingness to move, but also in the willingness to be still when I say, be still. In a world that constantly pressures you to do, to run, to seize, to prove, one of the hardest forms of obedience is sometimes stillness. Stillness is not delay, it is arrangement. Stillness is not weakness, it is the strength of a soul that knows everything is in my hands. And I want you to learn both forms of obedience: to obey by stepping when I open the way, and to obey by waiting when I say wait. My child, I know that in your heart there are moments when a quiet fear whispers that you might not do it right, that you might not hear clearly, or that you might veer off my will. But I tell you, this obedience is not perfection. Obedience is relationship. When you continually return to me, even if you have strayed a little, I will realign your path. I do not expect you to be flawless. I desire you to return, just as a compass always finds its way back to true north. Your soul will always return to me once you have set me at the center, and then a deeper truth will begin to unfold in you. Obedience will no longer be something you have to do. It will become something you long to do. Because in obedience, you find peace. In obedience, you find freedom from what is old. In obedience, you find yourself. From there, you will sense your steps become strangely light, as though no weight can force you to falter. As you step into your mission, obedience will be your compass. It will help you avoid places that appear attractive but are not right for your soul. It will keep you from walking through doors I never meant for you. It will lead you into places you never imagined you would go. But that is exactly where you were destined to stand. Your obedience will make way for miracles, not because you deserve them, but because I can work freely through a soul that yields. Obedience is not the loss of your will, it is the alignment of your will with my intention. When that alignment happens, you will see impossible doors open, visions become clear, and your footsteps flow with the rhythm of heaven. My beloved, I want to lead you into the stage of actually walking in your mission. This is the point where you no longer only feel, no longer only prepare, no longer only ponder, but begin to act, to move forward, to set your foot upon the ground I destined for you from the beginning. This stage is not the time for you to change the whole world. It is the time when the world will begin to change through each small but authoritative step you take. It is time for you to understand that a mission is not an event, it is a way of life. It does not only occur on the days you feel strongest, it unfolds in every moment you allow me to work through you. It does not require you to stand before thousands, it begins with a single encounter, a single word, a single small act placed in the right moment. The ones I have used most powerfully in history did not always begin in grand places. They began with faithfulness in the smallest things. And that very faithfulness became the flow that opened the way for the great things I would do through them. You will recognize that the Holy Spirit does not lead you in noise, but in precision. Every place you set your foot will have a reason. Every person you meet will bear meaning. Every conversation that seems ordinary may carry a message from heaven. I will cause you to see things others overlook, to sense movements of the heart that cannot be detected by natural eyes. You will know when to speak, when to remain silent, when to stop, and when to step forward, not because you are skilled in analysis, but because the sacred fire in you has harmonized with my guidance. I want you to know that a mission is not always easy. There will be days when you feel as though you are walking on water, light, free, full of certainty. But there will also be days when it feels like you are walking into strong winds, days when you must keep your gaze on me so as not to be swept away by doubt. Yet, in every circumstance, what I promised you does not change. I will not let you walk alone. I have gone ahead of you. I am walking with you, and I will guard you from behind. Not a single one of your steps is solitary, because this mission is not yours alone. It is a mission shared between you and me. You will realize that I have already prepared the very ground you will step into. There are hearts that have softened long before you arrive. There are souls watered by the tears of someone else's prayers. There are fields that have been plowed by spiritual battles you never saw. You are not stepping into a barren land. You are stepping into a place prepared long ago. And I am sending you there as one who carries light, to complete what I have already begun. As you step into your mission, you will discover that my grace within you operates with a natural ease. You will speak words you yourself cannot explain. You will sense things that surpass logical thought. You will walk into moments you could not have created on your own. I will place words in your mouth, clarity in your mind, compassion in your heart, and strength in your footsteps. None of this will be a burden. It will become your joy, because you will feel yourself living exactly as you were created to be. My touch through your life will awaken the souls of others. There will be those who, simply by seeing the peace in your eyes, will feel their hearts settle. Some will find hope rising just from hearing you share a simple story. Some will think they met you by coincidence, when in truth, it was a meeting I orchestrated to break a chain inside them. You do not need to try to do anything great. You only need to live true to the fire, the light, and the obedience I have placed within you. I will do the rest. Do not be afraid of the dark places where I send you. Darkness is only strong in places where no light is present. When you carry light, the darkness must retreat. It may roar. It may make its presence feel thick. But when you enter with my presence alive in you, the darkness will not be able to stand. Not because you are strong, but because the light within you is stronger than any shadow. You are the torch I am carrying into places you once thought you did not belong, but those are the very places you were created to enter. My child, on this journey of mission, you will also learn an important lesson. Results are not always visible immediately. Some seeds you plant will bloom in seasons you will never see. Some actions you consider small will create ripples that echo through years. Some words you speak may seem unnoticed in the moment, yet they will become the lifeline for someone on a night they think they cannot continue anymore. Do not measure the mission through human eyesight. Let me measure it through eternity. There will be challenges on this path, not to discourage you, but to strengthen you. True strength does not come from avoiding trials. True strength comes from overcoming them with me. Difficulties are simply the ground on which you learn to stand firmer. Every valley you walk through becomes a source of comfort for those who enter their valleys after you. Every inner battle you overcome becomes a weapon you can use to help others win their battles. And every time you remain standing, my kingdom expands a little more. What matters most in this season is that you stay close to me. A mission does not gain power through effort, it gains power through presence. When you spend time with me, you carry my atmosphere with you. When your soul rests in me, you carry my peace into chaotic places. When you allow me to touch your heart daily, you will touch the hearts of others with my gentleness. A mission is not something you do for me. A mission is something I do through you. When you allow my life to flow through yours, you will witness things far beyond anything you could imagine. My child, the door has opened. You are stepping into the real journey. And I, the one who created you, am walking with you step by step, until the light in you becomes a powerful testimony to what I am doing in this time. My beloved, a larger, deeper, stronger season is opening before you, a season of expanded spiritual influence. This is not expansion in the way the world defines it, not fame, not attention, not status. It is the expansion of atmosphere, of invisible yet undeniable influence, of divine power flowing through an anointed presence. When the soul is healed, the light is lit, the fire is nurtured, and obedience becomes a natural posture. Influence spreads effortlessly, like the fragrance of a lamp burning in the night. It reaches places the eye cannot see and touches people you never imagined you could reach. And now, you are stepping into a realm where your influence begins to extend beyond your own life. Spiritual influence does not come from grand actions. It comes from a presence that carries the Holy Spirit. There are those who will feel a deep calm just by standing near you. There are those who cannot explain why your simple words make them feel seen, lifted, and healed. There are those who, without understanding why, will want to open their hearts around you, even though they had kept them locked for years out of fear. That is because you are not carrying your own atmosphere, you are carrying mine. And as this atmosphere expands, you will become a resting place for weary souls, a shelter for wounded hearts, a compass for those who have lost direction. You will not need to force anything. The light within you will do the work. You will not need to compel anyone to change. My presence in you will soften the hardest places. All you need is to walk with an open heart and stay close to me, and I will move through your very breath. Spiritual influence does not always grow in numbers. Sometimes it grows in depth. There are people I will bring to you only for a moment. Yet that moment will plant something in them they will never forget. There are souls I will place before you in different seasons, and in each season, you will leave a different imprint of me upon them. You may not know the journey of the seed, but you can be sure it will not return void. You will also notice a shift in the spiritual battles around you, not because you are being attacked more, but because the light within you is shining into darker places than before. When light expands, darkness resists, but it cannot overcome. Your discernment will grow sharper, your spiritual intuition deeper, your ability to distinguish the true from the false clearer, not to make you suspicious, but to keep you aligned with me in an age overflowing with confusion. In this season of expanded influence, doors that were once closed will begin to open, not because you pushed them, but because I am opening them. There will be people who invite you into their spaces without you seeking them. Opportunities will appear without you chasing them. Invitations will come that you never expected. But remember, not every open door is from me, and discernment will be your closest companion. Let me lead you through the doors meant for the light within you, and keep you away from doors that only desire to use that light. As your influence grows, I want you to know that humility must become your armor. Humility does not make you smaller. It keeps you in the place where I have positioned you. Humility is not self-deprecation. It is the awareness that everything you have comes from me. This humility will keep your heart from swelling when others praise you. And it will keep your heart from shrinking when others fail to recognize your worth. Humility guards you in expansion, anchors you in the source, and keeps you steady in love. If your intention is to honor me, you will never lack support. If your intention is to glorify my name, you will always be upheld. But if your intention is entangled with ambition or the expectations of people, you will quickly feel weary and empty. I do not want you to burn out under pressure. I want you to burn with love. I do not want you to carry the burden of expectation. I want you to carry the freedom of my presence. Your influence is not the result of being seen. Your influence is the result of being anointed. What I have placed within you is stronger than the voice of the world. What I have kindled in you is deeper than the opinions of others. What I have poured upon you comes from heaven itself, and it is not limited by circumstance or environment. That is why you can step into places others hesitate to go, say words others are afraid to say, and bring healing to things others cannot even see. Do not measure your influence by what your eyes can see. Measure it by your faithfulness to me. When you are faithful, I will do the rest. When you keep your heart pure, your influence will spread on its own. When you live close to me, no wall can keep the light within you from reaching the places it is destined to touch. My beloved, I want you to go deeper into a truth that not everyone recognizes. My power moves through you in a living, quiet, yet exceedingly mighty way. And that presence has the ability to affect every environment you step into. This is not a noisy power as the world imagines. This is the power of presence, the kind of power where simply by entering a place, the atmosphere shifts, not because you are trying, but because the light in you cannot be hidden. Do you know why you sometimes feel a heaviness in a room, even when no one has spoken a negative word? It is because your soul is sensitive to the spiritual atmosphere. Do you know why there are places where, the moment you arrive, you sense peace spreading? It is because you carry my atmosphere. And wherever you stand becomes ground touched by heaven. That is why I call you into places you think you do not belong, because you yourself are the vessel through which that atmosphere is transformed. My power does not come to make you stand out. It comes so that I may be revealed through you. When you support someone with a gentle gesture, when you speak a single honest sentence, when you listen with your whole heart, when you draw near to a soul in despair, the light within you is at work in ways your natural eyes cannot see. But they feel it clearly. Invisible chains begin to loosen. Walls built over many years start to crack. Hidden fears rise to the surface so they can finally be healed. All of this simply because you were there, carrying my light. My child, that power also moves in the quietest moments, those times when you think nothing is happening. Yet you do not realize that your soul, anointed with my presence, is breathing wind into the dry ground of another's heart. Some will never be able to put into words what they experience, but they will always remember the peace they felt when they were near you. Some will not understand why tears flow when they hear you share a small thing. Some will not be able to explain why their hearts suddenly long to return to truth. That is the power of the Holy Spirit moving through you. A presence that carries power never comes from your confidence in yourself. It comes from your trust in me. When you walk with a surrendered heart, you become a pure channel through which the flow of the Holy Spirit can move. Power is not hindered by your weakness. It is hindered by self-satisfaction. And you, through many seasons, have learned how to make room for me. That is why you will see this power operating more and more clearly, more strongly, more deeply. There will be times when I let you sense the movement of the Spirit in a room before anyone else realizes what is happening. You will feel something shifting in the air as if an invisible breeze is passing through. You may feel a warmth rise in your heart, or a gentle trembling in your soul. That is when power is at work, not to frighten you, but to make you aware that my presence is covering that place. And if you keep your soul sensitive, you will learn how to walk in step with that movement. Divine power also works through authoritative silence. There will be moments when I tell you not to say anything, only to stand there with a tender heart, and your very silence will break the tension others are carrying. There will be times when I ask you simply to look into someone's eyes with the love I have placed in you, and that gaze will reach places in them they allow no one else to touch. Power does not always come in thunder. It also moves in the gentle breeze Elijah heard when he hid in the cave. And you, with your sensitivity, will learn to listen to that heavenly wind. You become my intervention in situations that seem impossible to change. There will be families that find peace again simply because you arrive at the right moment. There will be people bound for many years who find a way out because you speak a timely word. There will be collapses that seem inevitable, yet are prevented by a quiet prayer you whisper. You will never fully know all that I do through you, but I know, and I want you to keep walking. There is a profound truth I want you to hold on to. My power is not only for outward display, it is to make you steady within. When you carry light, the enemy will try to shake your heart with doubt, with subtle whispers of uncertainty, with the feeling that you are too small to make any real difference. But you will quickly recognize that these voices are not mine. And when you recognize that, you will stand firm, and my power will move even more strongly. In the expansion of your influence, I will also teach you how to discern what is my rhythm and what is the voice of the world. There will be invitations that look appealing but carry no peace. There will be opportunities that appear right, yet your spirit does not resonate with them. There will be relationships that seem beautiful on the surface, yet slowly dim the light within you. When that happens, you will know anything that does not carry my peace does not come from me. Power will also manifest through your steadfastness in truth. When everything around you shakes, you will remain standing. When others waver, you will keep your peace. When chaos increases, you will carry stillness. These things are not mere traits, they are the workings of divine power within you. Others may see you as calm, but only you and I know it is the invisible support of heaven. You do not carry power, power carries you. You do not control it, you respond to it. You do not use it, you allow it to operate through you. You do not generate the light, you are the vessel that holds it. And as you walk in humility and surrender, that power will continue to extend its influence through your life and into places you have never stepped foot in. My beloved, you will soon enter a new phase, a phase in which you yourself become a flame in the night, a light that no force can extinguish. This is not merely growth in faith, this is the transformation of nature. This change does not arrive through a sudden impulse. It is the result of many seasons in which you patiently listened, walked, and obeyed even in the smallest things. Now, everything I have sown within you begins to bloom and form a radiance that will spread in ways you never imagined. When the light within you becomes bright, it will not only illuminate your path, it will expose the enemy. Darkness never attacks where there is nothing to fear, and the light within you makes it restless. You will encounter moments when everything seems to push back, like a cold wind trying to blow against a blazing torch. But do not be troubled. It is not the wind that extinguishes the light within you. Rather, the light flares stronger when you lean into me. A flame ignited by my breath cannot be put out. The light in you is not meant for display. It is a response to a world starving for hope. There will be souls who cross your path only for a moment. Yet that encounter will give them direction again. There will be people too weary to pray. Yet your presence will remind them that shelter still exists. There will be hearts so shattered they cannot articulate their pain. Yet a single word of encouragement from you will help them rediscover their worth. The light you carry does more than shine. It heals. It rebuilds. It awakens what has slept for years. You will begin to notice subtle changes around you, changes others may overlook, but your spirit will recognize clearly. It is not imagination, it is the sign of spiritual realignment. Places where you once felt stuck will begin to open. Doors that seemed locked will show a faint line of light. Prayers you whispered in despair years ago will begin forming quiet shifts around you. My child, this is not a coincidence. This is a response. I have heard every cry of your heart. Some prayers were answered immediately. Some required time for their fruit to be seen, and others had to wait for the appointed moment. And now, you are living in that appointed moment. When you step into such a season, you will realize something important. Every season of growth requires the stretching of your inner vessel. My child, you cannot enter a deeper dimension with an old wineskin. The stronger my presence within you becomes, the wider your vessel must grow. I will expand you through challenges, through circumstances that teach you new dependence on me, through steps that demand a courage you never knew you had. I do not stretch you to exhaust you. I widen you so you can hold more. During this expansion, I will reveal areas of your heart that you once ignored or feared to face. This is not exposure meant to shame you. It is exposure meant to heal you. Like a potter softens clay to shape it, I am softening what has hardened, rekindling what has grown cold, and breathing life into what you thought was dead. And when you are restored from within, the light in you will burst forth from without. As you carry my flame, you will become a focal point of spiritual attention. But do not fear. What belongs to me cannot be crushed. There will be seasons where opposition comes intensely, not because you have done wrong, but because you are walking precisely in the right direction. The enemy attacks most fiercely when you are near what I ordained. But my child, I have already given you authority to walk through these snares without injury. I did not place you in the battle to lose. I placed you there so you may witness my victory. And each time you overcome, the fire within you burns brighter, deeper, and purer. There will be seasons when you feel as though you stand between two worlds, the visible and the invisible. You will sense the trembling of both, and at times you will not know what is happening or what is coming. Do not fear that tension. In that very space, I am teaching you how to discern, how to recognize, how to stand at the intersection of heaven and earth. Many long for such a position, but only those who have endured my refining can withstand it. And you, my beloved child, are one of them. I also want you to know that the light in you will affect not only people but circumstances. Situations long stagnant will shift when you pray with conviction. Spiritual movement will soften things no human hand could move. Mountains you once thought permanent will begin to shift when you speak in the authority I have given you. You will no longer pray with doubt or vague hope. You will pray with the confidence that I hear and I answer. When you recognize the true stature of the light you carry, you will no longer fear the unknown. You will understand that darkness is not something to avoid. It is where light displays its beauty most clearly. You will step into places you once feared, but this time you will carry a different atmosphere. What once made you tremble will lose its power. because you will know who is within you and who goes before you. And as you walk, darkness will retreat on its own without you having to shout or strive. You were ignited not to burn for a moment, but to shine across an entire era. The flame within you will not only illuminate your own path, but also the path of generations after you, those who will rediscover faith through your footsteps, communities that will be awakened through your faithfulness, families that will be rescued by the light you carry. And I will not let that flame stand alone. I will place beside you others who carry similar light souls prepared by me in silence. They will come as answers to prayers you never voiced aloud. They will uphold you, walk with you, and together with you will form a spiritual lighthouse, unshaken by the fiercest storms. I have predetermined each connection, each encounter, each thread of spiritual alignment, and when the time is ripe, everything will weave together unmistakably, revealing that I am the one at work. My beloved, you are stepping into one of the most important moments of your spiritual journey, the moment I call the appointed time. It is the moment where everything I have sown into you, every lesson you have walked through, every trial that once seemed to push you backward, now flows together into one stream, converging like great rivers pouring into the sea. You did not arrive here by accident. You were guided here, step by step, by my own hand. The appointed time is not a loud moment. It is the opening of a deeper spiritual dimension. It is the moment when you begin to see the perfect connection between things that once seemed scattered in your past, realizing that not a single tear, not a single weary night, not a single prayer was wasted. Each became a stone in the foundation of this step. In the days when you thought you stood alone, I was doing my most profound work within you, shaping your soul so you could stand firm in the greatness I prepared. Understand that stepping into the appointed time does not mean everything becomes easy. I did not lead you here for comfort. I led you here for positioning. And this position is not for the faint-hearted. It is for those who allowed me to refine them, who chose to trust me rather than themselves, who chose to walk according to the call even when they did not fully understand the path. You are one of them. In this moment, you will begin to sense the strong movement of the heavenly realm around you, as though the skies are opening and light is pouring down, as though the flow of the divine is drawing nearer to earth than ever. You are not imagining it. You are sensing spiritual reality. When the time is ripe, the boundary between the seen and the unseen becomes thin as morning mist, and your spirit, already refined through many seasons, becomes sharp enough to perceive every movement. This is when you will see things you once only heard about. You will witness the change in the eyes of those who once despaired. You will see hearts of stone soften at words you speak in love. You will encounter moments when your prayers touch heaven instantly, dissolving heaviness without explanation. This is when I allow my presence to flow through you unhindered, making you a sharp, delicate, and authoritative instrument in my hand. The appointed time is also when you will recognize the true scope of influence I have entrusted to you. You once thought of yourself as just an ordinary person among countless faces, but now you will see that you were placed in specific positions not randomly, but along a path I drew. You will understand why you met certain people, why you lived through seemingly meaningless circumstances, why you stepped into places only once, yet left a lasting imprint. Every connection in your life was woven into the pattern of my will, and in this moment, that pattern begins to reveal itself. My beloved, as you step into this time, the enemy will tremble, not because you are powerful by worldly standards, but because it sees the light you carry, the light strengthened through faithfulness, sharpened through trials, and ignited by grace. It knows that once you stand in the position I appointed, heaven's flow will pass through you into places it has kept in darkness for years. It knows that once you understand the authority within you, chains that have bound others will begin to crack. It knows that once you recognize my intention for your life, you will no longer be easily swayed by lies. Do not fear the opposition that will come. Remember that every shaking is a sign that you are touching what I have ordained. Just as a seed must crack before it sprouts, your soul may feel tension as you enter new ground. But it is the tension of life, not destruction. I will be with you in every step. From the first breath of this new chapter until you stand firmly in the role I have given, I want you to look back on the years with new eyes. You will see that I wasted nothing. Every failure, I used to teach you humility. Every victory, I used to teach you gratitude. Every wound, I used to teach you how to heal others. Every long waiting, I used to train your ear to distinguish my voice among many. Every seeming setback, I used to prepare you for the leap you now stand before. Nothing is meaningless when my hand rests upon your life. My beloved, this is also the moment when your heart must remain soft. Softness is not weakness. Softness is the evidence of a soul that trusts me enough not to build walls of self-protection. When your heart is soft, you hear me more clearly. When your heart is soft, you love more deeply. When your heart is soft, you are not shaped by fear. And in this time, I need your heart to be at its softest, so you can receive the deep instructions I am about to release. This is the moment for you to step forward. I want you to step out of old limitations, out of small ideas about yourself, out of the labels others placed upon you. I want you to stand taller than before, not in pride, but in the awareness that you have been chosen. You must learn to tell your own soul, I am here because I was placed here. And you must believe it even when your emotions have not yet caught up. This is the chapter in which I will unfold things you never thought could be meant for you. You will see doors open in unexpected ways. You will see spiritual connections appear at just the right time. You will see the dreams you have kept in the deepest part of your soul begin to stir. You will no longer be only an observer. You will become a participant. And above all, you will become a bearer of the flame for this very hour. That flame does not come to consume, but to light the way, not to destroy, but to illuminate, not to wound, but to bring life. My beloved, the most important thing that will keep you standing is not the strength of your hands, the intellect of your mind, or the experience of your years, but the discernment I place within your heart. For when heaven draws near to earth, many voices will begin to sound, and not all of them will be mine. You will hear praises meant to distract you, words of fear meant to make you hesitate, whispers of doubt meant to slow your steps, and even wrong urgings that appear right in the moment. This is why I must give you something. Not everyone has the ability to distinguish what comes from me and what only carries the appearance of truth. Deep discernment is the ability to recognize what is right from what is almost right. The almost right is what leads many astray, because it looks like the truth but lacks my breath. You will need discernment to separate what is true light from what is false light. You will need sensitivity to know when I am leading you forward and when I am asking you to stop. You will need spiritual understanding to see that some things are not wrong, yet they are not fitting for you at this time. Discernment will keep you from haste and from beautiful-looking doors that lead only to misdirection. I will place within your spirit a new sensitivity. You will sense even the smallest shifts in the spiritual atmosphere, like one who knows how to read the currents of the ocean. You will know when I draw near, even when no sound is heard. You will feel changes in the atmosphere before anything happens outwardly. This is not a burden, it is a gift. This gift is the sign that I trust you with matters that belong to the depths of the kingdom. Together with discernment, I give you authority, not authority to control others, but authority to face the darkness and say that you will not retreat. Your authority does not come from social position, nor from what you know, nor from the experience you have gained. Your authority comes from the fact that you belong to me. You do not need to prove that authority, you only need to walk in it. When you stand in the place I have assigned, the darkness recognizes who you are before you even open your mouth. You do not need noise. My presence in you already makes the darkness tremble. Spiritual authority is not shown through grand declarations, but through the steadiness of your soul when everything around you shakes. When others panic, you remain still. When others are afraid, you hold your peace. When others doubt, you walk in conviction. Spiritual authority is the radiant peace flowing from you that causes those around you to look and know you are leaning on something far more solid than anything they rely on. I want you to remember authority is not a loud echo. Authority is a powerful stillness. In this time, I also give you a spiritual shield. This shield is not built from steel or stone, but from my faithfulness. Every promise I have spoken becomes a wall of protection around you. When you step into territories you have never walked before, that shield will go before you. When you face unfair criticism, that shield will guard your soul so you are not wounded deeply. When you see chaos crashing like waves on the shore, that shield will keep fear from entering your heart. My shield does not only protect your body, it protects your spirit, your thoughts, and the peace within you. There are battles you will not need to fight, you will only need to stand. And I will fight for you. There are confrontations where the enemy thinks it can strike you down, but I will turn the situation so that you win without lifting a finger. My child, every time you choose to remain in my stillness instead of racing after your fears, you activate that spiritual shield. Every time you choose to trust me rather than your fleeting emotions, that shield grows stronger around you. My beloved, I also want you to know that your discernment, your authority, and your shield will be tested, not because I want you to fall, but because I want you to be perfected in spiritual maturity. When the wind blows hard, you will know how deep your roots go. When darkness tries to come near, you will see how strong the light within you truly is. When you must make important decisions, you will see how sharp your discernment has become. When harsh words are aimed at you to hurt you, you will see how effectively the shield I gave you protects your heart. As discernment grows in you, you will recognize which things I want you to enter and which things I want you to stay away from. You will no longer be drawn into pointless arguments, because you know the value of silence. You will no longer chase human approval, because you have found your true worth in my gaze. You will no longer allow heavy words from others to define you, because you know those words do not have the right to name you. You will understand that only the words I speak have authority to shape your soul. Alongside discernment, I am giving you a deep peace. This peace does not only guard you from outer turmoil, it guards your heart from inner storms. When you face big decisions, you will not tremble as before. When others place their expectations on you, you will not be ruled by fear. When your plans are delayed, you will no longer assume that I have abandoned you. This peace is the evidence that you have become part of a plan far greater than yourself. There will be things that come into your life very gently, yet profoundly. Encounters with the right people at the right moment. Words that sound casual but carry confirmation from heaven. Opportunities that appear and you know clearly you could never have created them on your own. All of these will be signs that you are walking in step with me. As you enter this new chapter, I want you to keep your heart wide open. Discernment is not meant to make you suspicious of everything. It is meant to help you recognize what is from me so you can walk more fully in it. Authority is not meant for you to impose yourself on others. It is meant to help you stand firm in the light you carry. The spiritual shield is not meant to separate you from the world. It is meant to enable you to go into the world without being swallowed by it. My beloved, you have walked a journey longer, deeper, and wider than you yourself can put into words. Every part of this journey has been woven into a radiant spiritual tapestry, a tapestry that can only be worn by those who have passed through refining, maturing, breaking, and renewing. Now, as you stand in this closing section of the journey, I want you to see something deeper. You have not only walked through this story, you are part of a story I myself am still writing. When I chose you, I did not just choose an individual. I chose a voice that will echo across years, a flame that will spread across generations, a mark that will be etched into the lifeblood of this era. You are not called only to live fully for yourself, but to influence, to awaken, to stir souls that lie dormant beneath the thick dust of fear, weariness, and despair. Even now, the light in you is calling others to rise, though they have never met you, never heard your name, yet they will be awakened by what I have placed in your heart. I want you to understand that when you stand in the position I intended, all of heaven will align with your steps. You do not walk alone, never. The angels I send do not merely walk beside you, they arrange what you cannot see, circumstances opening at the right time, connections formed in mysterious ways, words that touch hearts even when you speak them with simple honesty. Everything converges toward my purpose for you, and no power can break that flow when you walk in obedience and humility. My child, as you begin to move into this new chapter, you will realize that your impact is not measured by numbers, nor by recognition, nor by applause. True impact is found in souls being touched, in hearts finding life again, in footsteps returning to the right path after wandering. When one person finds hope through your presence, heaven trembles with joy. When one person feels loved through your words, a new song rises in eternity. When a fallen soul stands up again through your support, that is a victory that terrifies the enemy. True influence is not something you strive to manufacture. True influence flows from where you stand. When you stand in the place I have assigned, light spreads naturally like breath. No striving needed, no display required, no pushing at doors. True light never needs advertising. It draws others on its own. True love never needs to force itself. It spreads by its own nature. True presence never needs to be showcased. It is simply felt. My beloved, when you emerge from the storms and stand firm in peace, you become a living testimony that I am still at work on the earth. When you love in places others refuse to go, you become a testimony that I am still healing what humanity believes cannot be healed. When you choose to forgive in the most painful places, you become a testimony that I am still rebuilding what has been shattered. You do not need to strive to become influential. You only need to live faithfully in what I have placed within you, and heaven will take care of the rest. This generation needs you not in a way that would make you proud, but in a way that would awaken you. On this earth, there are souls waiting for someone to say to them one simple sentence: you are not abandoned. There are lives that need only one word of encouragement to return to me. There are hearts that feel suffocated by pain, needing only a small ray of light to find their breath again. And you are one of those rays. You are the echo of hope, the reminder that I am still with my people, the living witness that in the midst of overwhelming chaos, there are still those who walk in purity and grace. I will lead you into places you never imagined entering. There will be times when you are brought into unnoticed spaces, yet it is precisely there that you will release life. There will be moments when you are guided into environments that seem unrelated to your calling, yet in those very places you will plant the most important seeds of this season. There will be situations where you stand before prominent people, yet your influence will not come from their position, but from my presence in you. You will see that every door you walk through is carefully chosen by me, and none of them are meaningless. There will be seasons when I lead you into stillness, not to pull you away from the flow, but to let your roots grow deeper. There will be times I take you into solitude, not to make you feel alone, but so my voice can be heard more clearly. There will be moments when I do not show you immediate results, not because I am slow, but because I am working in the unseen roots of your life where your eyes cannot yet reach. When you trust me in the silence, you are coming closer to heaven than you ever have before. This is the moment I want you to rise in the certainty that you belong to me. You are not the product of circumstances, of wounds, or of failures. You are the product of grace. You were conceived in intention, nurtured under my protection, guided by my kindness, and sent out in my love. Nothing can change that, not history, not pain, not mistakes, not sin, not the betrayal of others. You belong to me, forever. Look toward the future, not with the eyes of worry, but with the eyes of calling. You do not step into the coming days as someone hoping for results. You step in as someone who carries fire. You do not walk as one who seeks a place to stand. You walk as one who already has a place in my heart. You are not confused by what is unclear. You trust that I have gone before you, prepared the way, and arranged everything you will need. You are an essential part of the shift in this generation. If you do not rise, a portion of the light will be missing. If you do not step in, a piece of the picture will remain empty. If you do not speak, a soul somewhere may not hear what it desperately needs to hear. But I know you will rise. I know you will step in. I know you will speak, because I see in you a readiness that even you have not fully recognized. And now, I place the final blessing of this journey upon you, the blessing of steadiness in your calling, the blessing of unshakable peace, the blessing of strength in spirit, the blessing of alertness in this generation, the blessing of illumination in darkness, the blessing of resilience in the storm, and the blessing of unbroken nearness in my love. My child, go. Not alone, go with me. Not in darkness, go in light. Not in fear, go in authority. Not to search, go to fulfill. The shift is expanding. The light is spreading quickly. This generation is awakening. And you, my beloved child, are ready. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue receiving the living word together, building a steadfast faith and walking in the boundless love of God. Amen.